Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and this is our daily Hindu editorial analysis. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to everybody. Good morning, Satya. Am I clearly visible and audible? Good morning, Mahita. Am I audible and visible in the app as well? Good morning, Neha, Chorus, Preeti, Devesh, Arsha, Simrella, Neha, and so many of you. Good morning. I hope you can hear and see me clearly. Yes, I'm absolutely perfect, fit, and fine. Thank you so much, guys, for asking. I hope you guys are doing good too. I hope you guys are absolutely staying safe and healthy. Please take care of yourselves. The situation outside isn't very pleasant for multiple reasons. Thank you, Raj. Thank you. All right. So now that I have people on board and now that I am clearly visible and audible, let's see what are we going to do today. So 11th of January. Okay. Festivities on the corner, right? So a lot of states in our country celebrate a lot of things on the 13th and 14th of January. We have lots to eat as well. Yes, enjoy that. Some states also fly a lot of kites during this festival. So have fun, enjoy, but make sure you don't miss out on your studies and the Hindu classes as well. We're going to take one article today from the Hindu. It's an economy-based article because I haven't taken an article on economy for quite some time. So we'll be discussing some terminologies. We'll look at the implication. We'll process the information and try to learn a few more things beyond the article that's given to us. And the second article I'm going to take is from the Indian Express. So that is what the agenda for today is. Both the articles that I've taken were published in yesterday's newspaper. So before I take you through the articles and we see what are we going to do in the class, a few things. You can start following us on Instagram. Our account's name is BYJU'S Exam Prep CLAT. Please find our Instagram account. Please start following us. This is no ordinary account where we randomly post crap. This is an account where we post current affairs, GK, quiz, vocabulary, questions, previous year questions. A lot of discussions happen there. So I'm sure you will be learning a lot by following this account rather than following any random account. Please follow us quickly here. Apart from that, if you're targeting CLAT 2022, we've launched our very first crash course. So if you wish to clear CLAT 22, जल्दी से एनरोल कर लो क्रैश कोर्स में बिकॉज जितना लेट करोगी उतना लॉस होगा आपको जल्दी से फर्स्ट क्रैश कोर्स स्टार्ट योर एनरोलमेंट्स राइट अवे and if you wish to study not every subject but specifically legal affairs and current events, batch 2 of our booster course on legal affairs and current events has been recently launched. Batch 1 already full हो चुका है तो आपके लिए सेकंड बैच है इसके लिए एनरोल कर लो वेट मत करो नहीं तो बहुत सारे जीके मिस हो जाएगा करंट अफेयर्स मिस हो जाएगा सब कुछ आपको कवर अप करने में प्रॉब्लम होगी इसलिए जल्दी से कर लो मैम इट्स बीन अ लॉन्ग टाइम वी हैवंट डन समथिंग फ्रॉम Aeon. Shakshi, you're actually right, we haven't done, but then every day we see so many important articles. Okay, I think I would like to answer your question in detail. आपको पता है कौन से months में से maximum passages, maximum GK content pick होता है? आपको पता है वो कौन से months हैं? For anyone who does not understand Hindi, I'll ask that in English as well. Do you know which months are important from the perspective of GK and reading comprehension from editorials? Any guesses, anyone? So, today as well, Pratik, but I have taken yesterday's article. Should I read the newspaper first daily or watch the analysis daily? Shiva, either way round. Either way round. No, nobody? So technically, it's November, December, and onwards till March is the maximum, the most important period. I'll write this down for all of you. It starts off with November till March. So we are technically right in between the most important time of the year. So obviously I would not want you to miss out on any important article from the newspaper, any important GK topic as well. Thus, the chances of I taking A on article actually becomes rather negligible. Though if I think one day there's not even a single important passage, I could take an article from Aeon. But for now, we need to be very, very focused about the articles that are published in these months. Remember that, okay? So I hope this makes sense. Let's move ahead. And let me tell you that if you're targeting CLAT 23, we've launched a new batch 7. I'll be a part of this batch as well. I'll be teaching here English. I'll be teaching English. So if 23 is your target, इसके लिए जल्दी से enroll कर लो और late मत करो. Okay. So last 5 months बोल सकते हो. Yes, November to April 15th roughly. Yes. So that is it. Now, Saki, technically, for 2023 kids, the year that's important is December 2021 to November 2022. That's the entire year that's important for everyone who's targeting CLAT 2023. But I'll have to do some research and I'll have to think more about the fact कि कौन से time में वो paper set करेंगे, which is very likely going to happen after first CLAT of 2022 happens. So first CLAT के बाद वाले months आपके लिए supremely important हो जाते हैं. Remember that, okay? All right. All right. So let's move ahead. What are we going to do in the class today? We'll start off with the quote of the day that you're going to give me. Then we'll revise 3 questions from yesterday's class. And just a minute. Yeah. So we'll revise 3 questions from yesterday's class in terms of one word substitution. We'll take up 2 articles and do a detailed discussion on them. All the vocabulary, phrasal verbs, idioms and phrases from these articles, we're going to memorize that. And in the end, you're going to tell me the tone of the author. Plus, you could write down the summary of each article under my video in the comment section. Yesterday, some of you had written the summary. I've checked each of the summaries. If there's anything that you would want to communicate to me, you could also do the same. You can write down a comment under my video. Okay, so I'm going to check all the summaries, all the comments. I'll reply to you as well if there's a question that you have in your mind. And in the end, we're going to look at today's newspaper, Indian Express and Hindu, and we'll see what are the important articles that we should be reading from today's newspapers. Okay, now that is it about today. Tanishka has a quote. Tanishka says, eliminate the negative, latch into the affirmative and accentuate the positive. If you are positive, you'll see opportunities instead of obstacles. Absolutely. हर एक obstacle आपके लिए एक opportunity हो सकता है. And वो किससे आएगा? सिर्फ एक positive mindset से आएगा. I see some people in my classes, in my paid batches as well, and they're just too anxious and nervous about what's going to happen. But then if you keep being anxious about everything, you'll only and only look at negatives. And thus, it will always be an obstacle for you. When you are positive, that obstacle becomes an opportunity for you. Remember that. I hope that makes sense to everybody. All right. So that is for the quote of the day. Now let's start with the revision from yesterday's vocabulary. Involving immoral or dishonorable actions and motives, arousing moral distaste or contempt. Is it deportation, circumvent, skeptic or sordid? What is the answer here? Everybody, what do you think is the answer? Shiva, you just need to be regular now. Now, just be regular and don't miss out on any newspapers. I would recommend you do both the things. Watch the Hindu class as well as read the remaining articles that I haven't taken in my class. Okay. So yes, the answer for sure is D. It is sordid. Oh, just a minute, guys. Just a minute. What happened? Give me a second. Am I audible? Am I audible? Hello? Yeah, I think so. Am I audible, everybody? Something went wrong. Am I audible in the app and YouTube? Yes, okay. Yes. I hope in the app as well. Okay. So, Here we go. Next question. Proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with very harmful effects. Cusp, ignominy, lament, insidious. What's the answer? Alicia, I'm so fond of myself. What's the answer here? Everybody? Yes, yes, yes. This as well is D. Yes, Jahid and Tanya, you're absolutely right. The answer is D. Insidious, okay? The last word for revision. Hesitate or be unwilling to accept an idea or undertaking. Conundrums, dictates, urbane or bulk. What is it? No, I don't attend my own class. It's a video that plays simultaneously, so that no, there's no glitch. आज फिर हैट्रिक होगी? हैट्रिक हो गई. Yes. Oh, no, it's not conundrum. It is not conundrum. It's bulk. आज फिर हैट्रिक हो गई. It's bulk. शिवा, ये वर्ड्स कल डिस्कस किए थे हमने क्लास में. All of these. ये सारे वर्ड्स, ऑप्शन के वर्ड्स भी, सब कल के क्लास में डिस्कस किए थे. ये रिविजन है. सो आज जो वोकैबुलरी कराऊंगी, प्लीज उनको केयरफुली करो, उनका स्क्रीनशॉट लो, कल उनका रिविजन करेंगे. ओके? इसका आंसर है bulk. All right. This is our answer. So that was for the revision. Now let's start with today's vocabulary. धीरे धीरे करते हैं, एक important word. We'll know how to use them as well. So here it is. Induce. So inducing is like persuade somebody or start something or ignite something. Okay, that's inducing. So the pickets induced many workers to stay away. उन्होंने ये feeling ignite करी in the mind of workers that these workers should stay away. Inducing pain, that is to ignite pain, to start, to maybe aggravate or maybe to give fuel to, can also be inducing. All right, I hope it makes sense to everybody. The second word, optimistic. We have done this word a lot of times as a tone of the author as well. So optimistic, can you give me synonyms to optimistic? I've taught you so many of them. Everybody? Yes, Amindra. Conundrum is confusion, a chaos, a melee. Induce for burgeoning, yes, correct. Provoke, incite, incentivize, absolutely correct. Synonym to optimistic, positive, okay, helpful, so hopeful, yes, correct, hopeful. Sanguine, I'll write this down for everyone, sanguine. I'm so glad that you remember my tone of the author class. It is sanguine here as well. So, okay, induce नहीं हुआ clear. मुस्कान, अगर मैं आपको influence करूं, अगर मैं आपको persuade करूं कि ऐसा करो, जाके उसका murder कर दो, abetment, okay? So यहाँ induce का मतलब हुआ मैं आपको persuade कर रही हूँ, ठीक है? मैं आपको किसी न किसी तरीके से influence कर रही हूँ कुछ करने के लिए. That is inducing. I hope everybody gets inducing, okay? Optimistic, positive for future, where I'm hopeful for the future. Very optimistic that things are going to be good. There's not going to be any COVID. You're going to go into an NLU study, stay in the hostel, have the time of your lives. Very optimistic. Whereas the opposite, of course, is pessimistic. Whereas a person thinks, no, sab galat hoga, the world is going to end. And this COVID is a type of apocalypse that's going to end the whole humanity. ये pessimistic हो गया. कॉलेज कभी नहीं खुलेगा, मैं कभी स्कूल नहीं जा पाऊंगा, मैं कभी हॉस्टल नहीं देख पाऊंगा. That's pessimistic. Next word is fiscal. Now fiscal has no, sorry, ये गलत है. I'll explain what fiscal is. Fiscal literally means financial. Okay, I think there is an error in the copy pasting thingy. Fiscal is financial, and since I'm going to take an economy based article, fiscal becomes a very important topic. Fiscal decisions, usually a common term is fiscal year. So fiscal year is a financial year. Now that financial year could be from January to December, it could be March to March as well. between 2 years. So ये depend करता है कौन सी company अपने financial year को कैसे देखती है वो year and the financial undertakings in it, the in and out of cash, in and out of loans and everything accumulated together, giving you profit or loss. That's called a fiscal year or a financial year. हमारी economy का भी एक fiscal year होता है जिसमें हम देखते हैं उस साल में कितना growth हुआ, कितना downfall हुआ, slump हुआ, everything is measured there. That's a fiscal year. Next word is upbeat. So upbeat is very, very cheerful and enthusiastic and optimistic and full of energy. That's upbeat. Okay. Rajkoshiya. Abhinay, I'm not really sure if Rajkoshiya can be a synonym to fiscal. I'm not really sure. Yeah, 1st April to 31st March, correct. Fiscal deficit is another word used. We'll discuss that as well in the class. Correct. Yes, I can see the app chat as well. Of course I can. Ashavadi is for optimistic. Yes, that is right. Ayush, that's right. So, okay. Now the next word, upbeat. He was upbeat about the company's future. He was very enthusiastic, full of energy and very hopeful about the company's future. That's upbeat. And the last word in the slide is robust. Robust is very strong, very healthy, full of energy. That is robust. So living in the mountains will give you a robust health. That will make you healthy. The Kaplan family are a robust lot. That means all of them are pretty healthy and vigorous and lot of energy in them. That is robust. So slide number 1. Everybody take a screenshot quickly. Yesterday the article is on our economy. Any doubts in the app? Any doubts in the YouTube chat? No. Okay. Robust can be steadfast. Yes, it can be. Alacrity. Upbeat. No. No. I disagree. Okay. All right. Husky for robust. Yes, you can say that. Correct. Strong, powerful, bolster. Yes. Rigorous or vigorous. All are related words. I'm moving to the next slide, everybody. Omnibus. Now, omnibus की बहुत सारी meaning है. I'll start with the basic meaning. A huge bus को आप omnibus बोल सकते हो. But anything that's big and huge can also be omnibus. So there are multiple implications. Contextual usage is important. The third one can be a single edition of 2 or more consecutive television or radio programs previously broadcasted separately. So पहले उनको अलग-अलग broadcast किया and then you make them one. So, or maybe you make them together. That's omnibus. So technically, anything that's big or anything that brings everything else together can also be omnibus. Okay? Got this, everybody? Yes, it can be very big as well. Omni means all. So encompassing everything is omni. Absolutely correct. That's the root word for it. Correct. I'm not going to talk about GST. No, Ali. No, I'm not going to talk about GST. Falter. Falter is you are running and then you get slow and tired because of obstacles. You are faltering there. Okay. So faltering can be reduction in the speed or reduction in the strength. That's falter. So the music faltered, stopped and started up again. It lost its strength. It got weak. It stopped, but it restarted again. That is what falter is. Okay. So fault, F-A-U-L-T, fault से relate करके याद कर सकते हो आप falter को. Any doubts? Any questions? Anybody? Falter is for topple. Yes. Reeling. Yes. Absolutely correct, Hemendra. Fragile, related one, not an exact synonym. Decline. Yes. Exhausted. Yes, Satwinder. Yes, you can say that. Drag one's feet. Absolutely correct. Fluctuate. Tinker. True, Priya. Priya, I can see how you're improving in your vocabulary. I can see that, as well as Hemendra. And I'm really proud of you. You guys have been regular to my classes since how long I don't even remember. And I can see the impact on you. So the next word, wreak. So causing harm, causing damage on anything is wreaking. So torrential rainstorm wreaked havoc yesterday. It caused harm. It caused havoc. So causing something negative is wreaking. Okay, remember, it causes something negative. It could be damage, harm, havoc, anything. But the impact will be negative. Remember that. It never comes with a positive word. So wreaking havoc is causing a lot of damage after the torrential rainstorm. We've looked at a lot of news that happened down south. Then we have cognizant. Can you break the word? Can you tell me the root word here? What is the root word? Everyone. Bestow. Yes, Priya. Bestow is a synonym to wreaking. Okay. Waning for faltering. Yes. Correct, Prasoon. Effect can also be wreaking. Yes. Cognizant. What is the root word? What is the root word to cognizant, everybody? What does it mean? What does cog mean? Cogni. Not cog, cogni. What does it mean? Priya, simple. British and American. Okay. So, what does this root word mean, everyone? Cognizance is when you are aware of what are the things that are happening around you, when you know. So, to know is cogni. So, cognitive उसी से root word से आया, cognition उसी root word से आया, cognizant उसी root word से आया. Okay, to know. That you're aware. So when you're aware about what is happening around you, you know, and you're changing accordingly, that's your cognizant behavior. Statesmen must be cognizant of the political boundaries. They must be aware of the political boundaries within which they can work. And the last word, holistic. Holistic is basically overall. So holo actually means whole. Okay, so like holograph. So I write my own life story with my own hands. It's a holograph. Okay, holistic becomes a complete overall development, overall implication is a holistic. So holistic growth, overall growth. So remember, holo is the root word which means whole. Done with the slide. Everybody take a screenshot quickly. Cognizable offense. Yes, Samarth. Comes from the same root word. Exactly. Okay, holistic education. Yes. The complete overall aspect of the education is holistic. Entire. Correct. Okay, integrated can also be used as one. Now, autobiography can be typed. But if I write it with my own hands, that's holograph. That's how it is different from autobiography. Okay. All right. So, I hope you've taken a screenshot. I'm moving to the next slide, everyone. Virology, virus and logy. So, technically, study of virus is virology. Simple, break the word. Logy is study, like psychology and sociology. So, we have virology, study of virus, virology. Virology experts around the world try to discover their own vaccines. That's what people have been doing. And virology has come into the news for the last 3 years because of the entrance of COVID. That's virology. Everybody needs to know this. The next word, surveillance. Surveillance is when you overlook everything. You are very keen. You're very observant there. And you're not missing out on anything. That's surveillance. Surveillance cameras, simple. They record everything. They look at you and they capture everything that's happening around. He found himself to put under surveillance by British military intelligence, or maybe CBI after you, putting surveillance on you. That, or maybe Julian Assange stuck in the Ecuador embassy with surveillance around him. So a lot of close observation where everything, because there is a question on your act. That is what surveillance is. Got this, everybody? Okay. Microbiology also, yes, because virology and microbiology both. Correct. Vigilant, yes. Surveillance के लिए आप vigilant बोल सकते हो, scrutiny भी बोल सकते हो. Both are correct. Okay. Let's move to Surveillance is vigilance, yes. Can aggregate be a synonym to holistic? Rishabh, I cannot mark it as an exact synonym. It's a related word though. Bulk, we did this word yesterday as well. It's again here today. So bulking is to not be ready to accept something that's happening, maybe an option given to you, an idea given to you, and you're not ready to accept that. You're hesitant in accepting it, is balking. So he balked at such a drastic solution. He was not ready or willing to accept it. That's balking. The next one is stride. So there are multiple implication meanings to it. The one is taking long, leapful steps. Big steps leke. So striding across the room, long steps leke cross karna. The next, take it in your stride. What does that phrase mean? When you take something in your stride, what does it mean? Who knows that? Surveillance को supervision बोल सकते हो ऋषभ. Yes. What does taking something in your stride mean? Upbeat be gusto? Yes, Priya. Preeti, yes, it can be. Ishika, what's your question, bache? Ma'am, can dynamic be a synonym of holistic? Not an exact synonym, bache. It's a related word. Okay. When you take something in your stride, what does it mean, everyone? Any answers, anybody? March and parade, Arshia, yes, you can call that walking stride. Yes. So when you take something in your stride, who has answered this? Nobody? Take it in mind? No. Progress, okay. Okay. Nobody? Yes, Shiva, you can say that. So take it in your stride is when you something unpleasant comes into your way and then you deal with it. You accept it. You take it in your stride. Okay? That is what it is. So unpleasant things coming your way, but you just handle them. You deal with them. All right? So I hope every word makes sense here. This is the last slide. Take a screenshot quickly, everybody, before we move on to the articles from today's newspaper. You take it under control. Yes. Absolutely right. So here we go with the article. Now, guys, all of these people who are commerce students, you would know each and every word here, but and you're going to help me, okay? Because this article is predominantly focusing on those people who are not very comfortable with economy-based articles and economic terms and terminologies. So we're going to basically focus on terms and terminologies today and look at the implication here. So I'll just give you a little background of what the article talks about. Our country, every financial year, we have some growth, some downfall, and some forecasting that happens. So, for example, before the next financial year, there's a forecasting that our financial ministry does, who says कि हमारा ये assumption है that this is how our country's economy would prosper, keeping in mind the existing scenarios. So, after the first wave of COVID, it was forecasted that the next year is going to see a slump in the economy because of the new variants coming in, for example, Delta. Alright, now during the whole 2021 with the emergence of Delta variant, our economy saw a very, very bad phase. But after that ended, there was another forecasting that happened. And this forecasting is for 2022 and it's a brilliant forecasting where our financial ministry forecasts that our economy is going to revive and go back to the original state where it was before COVID has hit us. But our ministry, our finance background does not keep into consideration the havoc the Omicron variant can cause to us. So this article precisely talks about that. But we're going to talk about a few terminologies in detail as well so that the next time an article on economy comes to you, you understand that clearly. Alright. So every, just a second guys. Okay. So every commerce student ready with me? Ready to help me? Yes, here we go. Just a minute. Here it is. The National Statistical Office's first advance estimates for economic output in the current financial year is an optimistic forecast that flags some positive trends as well as the areas of concern that have the potential to derail the growth momentum. Growth momentum एक ग्राफ है, ओके, ये मेरे कंट्री का ग्रोथ है. अगर इसको डीरेल करना है, मतलब ये ग्रोथ धीरे हो सकता है, डाउनफॉल हो सकता है. So there are things that can derail our growth and its momentum, or maybe slow down its pace. So one of the things that can derail our growth could be Omicron, yes, or multiple other variants that we see in the news, okay. And our National Statistical Office, it predicts what is going to be our growth in the next year. So they estimate that our economic output is going to be very optimistic. What is economic output? Economic output is the, who's going to tell me that? What is economic output? Everyone? What is economic output? Anybody? So economic output. Now what is output? Output is basically the goods and services that we produce within the country. If I link it to economy, that is the financial value it holds. That is called the, in layman term, called the economic output. Okay. So they are very hopeful about the good condition of economic output that happens within our country in terms of manufacturing, goods as well as services. The NSO has projected real GDP, gross domestic product, for the 12 months ending March 22 at 147.54 lakh crore, a 9.2% expansion from the provisional estimate of 135. The estimated tha last year 135, but uska 9.2% increment, expansion is actually visible, going to be visible by the end of March 2022. What is this? It's actually the projected GDP. So the projected one was 135. The actual could actually be near 147 with a 9.2% growth. When the full fury of the COVID-19 pandemic had caused output to contract by 7.3%. Now, how would an output contract? Total production during financial period, correct. Goods, quantity of goods and services produced is the output, correct. Now, the question is that what can lead to the contraction of output? Contraction of output can be because of multiple reasons. One, if I don't have ample, for example, if I don't have ample of money to manufacture a good or service, my output might fall down. If I don't have ample of profit in the last year, my output may fall down. If I don't have ample of demand in the market for my good or service, my output may fall down. Okay, and everything in this scenario, this financial year, had a very strong implication of the Delta variant on us. Thus, we knew that the output would be contracted and the result was output contracting by 7.3%. At that pace, India's economy would regain its preeminence as the world's fastest growing major economy. So, agar ye aisa ho jata hai, India can actually be back on track as one of the fastest growing economies of the world. So, that's a very hopeful, a very optimistic one. Yes, correct. Lack of human resources, another example, Akshit, absolutely right. Lack of raw material, that could also be true. No production, less production. Efficiency in human capital decreases, result in decrease in production. That could also be true. Yes, Samarth. Yes, good, absolutely good. Correct. So, what happens next? A key pillar of the growth that will keep our country on the track as the most actively growing economy assumption is the upbeat outlook. So, हमने एक forecasting करी है हमारे economy के लिए और बहुत optimistic forecasting है. But this forecasting is always, every forecasting is always dependent on some assumptions. I'm sure you know what assumptions are because you are critical reasoning students. So, this is also dependent, this forecast is also dependent on an assumption, and that is the upbeat outlook for the net tax receipts on products. So, basically, I'm talking of if I go to the market to buy a product, I'm going to pay some amount of tax to buy this. The assumption that the financial organization, the ministry does is that there's going to be an increment in the amount of tax our government receives for every good and service that is sold in our country. So that is their assumption. While the NSO sees expanding by robust 16.2% after shrinking 18.4% in the preceding period. So जो हमारा NSO है उसका भी expansion assumption है 16.2% का. GVA. Now what is gross value added? And how is it different from our output? Who is going to tell me the difference between GVA, gross value added, and output? Anybody? What is GVA? What is GVA? Exactly. Our export was also in a very good situation. Correct. What is GVA? Gross value added क्या होता है? Anyone? Anybody in the app? Maria, can I please address your question by the end of the class? Anybody? GVA? I know the full form is, it's written here, gross value added. What does it mean? Total value of all goods and services in all the three sectors. Exactly. Exactly. It's the total value additional. Now, I'll give you an example to make you understand what the GVA is. If I have to produce a pen, okay? इस पेन के प्रोडक्शन में 20 रुपीज का मटेरियल लगता है, मैन पावर लगता है, प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट लगता है, और इसका जो फाइनल वैल्यू निकल के आता है वो 30 रुपीज का, ठीक है, जिसके लिए मैं इसको मार्केट में सेल करती हूँ. सो 30 minus 20 is equal to 10. This 10 is my GVA. That's my gross value added. Okay? आया समझ में कैसे? जो आप उसमें एक्सपेंडिचर माइनस करके टोटल all the three sectors का माइनस करके जो फाइनल आपका वैल्यू निकल के आता है, that's your GVA. So the GVA which aggregates output in various sectors of the economy, because ये aggregated है, हमारे बाकी सारे सेक्टर्स का कितना aggregate निकलता है आउटपुट का, that is GVA. हर एक सेक्टर का इंडिविजुअल आउटपुट is projected to grow by 8.6%. मतलब आउटपुट ग्रो करेगा तो GVA भी ग्रो करेगा naturally. Year on year on the back of the continued healthy showing by the farm sector and hardening double-digit rebound in manufacturing. तो farm sector का production तो increase हो रहा है, but the best part is manufacturing का जो increment है, it's a double-digit increment. That is actually very fulfilling to our hearts. Because हमारा बहुत सारा economy हमारे manufacturing sector के output पे dependent होता है. Okay. However, when compared with the pre-pandemic financial year 2020's GVA, तो अगर मैं 2020 का GVA कंपेयर करूंगी 2022 के फोरकास्टेड GVA से, जो प्रोजेक्टेड आउटपुट है is actually 1.9% higher than the pre-pandemic year, clearly pointing to the fact that the economy has a fair distance to travel before it can regain the growth momentum that is crucially required to create more jobs and help narrow the widening economic inequality. ये जितनी भी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी है, इनका एक सिंपल इम्प्लीकेशन आपको दिखता है, नंबर ऑफ जॉब्स दैट आर प्रेजेंट बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल लॉस्ट देयर जॉब्स ड्यूरिंग कोविड, एंड द इक्वालिटी ऑफ इनकम. यू नो, आई हैड शोन यू अ पिरामिड and the maximum amount of money owned by the citizens of our country lies here. Maximum, इतना छोटा जो pyramid का top है, this is where the maximum amount of per capita income, not per capita income, the amount of money that our countrymen hold lies here. So उसको equally distribute करना, अगर मुझे इस pyramid को अगर इस तरीके का बनाना है, there is a lot of improvement that our economy needs to see. Tellingly, the NSO's forecast, which relies on varied data spanning the first 6 to 8 months of the current fiscal year, has not factored into the impact of the ongoing. Now, the point is that this whole financial year analysis and the forecasting overlooks the impact Omicron and the increasing number of COVID-19 cases can have on us. Because most of the states are on their way to impose a strict lockdown. Partial lockdown has already been witnessed in most of the states. मेरे state में 7 PM, not even 8. 7 PM, the shops are closed. Night curfew in its place. Weekend curfew is in its place. With that, क्या मेरा output increase हो सकता है? क्या मेरा purchasing power increase हो सकता है? क्या मेरा per capita income increase हो सकता है? No. So they are overlooking this fact. Understood this, everyone? Understood this? Yeah, I think so. Now, after all, it is anyone's guess as to how much of a below the current wave may deal. So देखो अभी तक किसी को नहीं पता कि ये कितनी deadly हो सकती है wave, how strongly it can impact our finance. Thus, they are overlooking this fact. In fact, private final consumption expenditure, which 2 years ago accounted for close to 60% of GDP. What is private final consumption expenditure? That is each individual's spending on the things, on the goods and services he consumes. That final expenditure actually accounted to approximately 60% of the GDP. तो मेरे country का जो gross domestic product है, उसका 60% is actually coming from what and how much a person spends on the final consumption of goods and services in the country, and is still struggling to recover from the crushing compression it suffered in the first full year of the pandemic. आपको पता है first full year में तो ये private final consumption drop हुआ था और अभी भी 60% है, so it might fall down even further. So equally significantly, the omnibus service category that spans trade. Omnibus मतलब एक category जो सब चीजों को encompass करती है. That is the omnibus service category. It encompasses trade, hotel, transport, communication, and broadcasting. All of these make up 1/5 of the GVA, is estimated to post a mere 11.9% expansion. This expansion is not a very good sign. So we might actually be too optimistic in our forecasting for the future. As a result, even without factoring the impact of the third wave, which is the Omicron wave, this vital service sector, the omnibus sector, service sector, like communication and broadcasting and trade, all of this would still be lagging behind in its pre-pandemic output by 8.5%. तो pre-pandemic 2020 का अगर आप GVA देखोगे omnibus services का, उससे अभी भी हम 8.5% slower हैं. So we'll take up a lot of time to pick up. With the union budget barely a few weeks away, बहुत सारा GK आने वाला है. Union budget barely a few weeks away, policy makers may have a clear choice कहाँ पैसा लगाना है, कहाँ invest करना है, किन चीजों को support करना है, even if it means losing the financial purse string. That is, even if it means putting in some more money from the government's budget into the upliftment of the economy, or risk seeing the growth momentum faltering or want a fair wind. So technically, the author is suggesting that since the whole union budget is in its way, possibly the government will have to put in some more money into the upliftment of our financial sectors. What is the tone of the author here? Everybody. Tone of the author. I hope the non-commerce kids had some insight on how our economy functions and how is the forecasting done. We'll have to take some important classes on the budget as well that comes. Yes, what is the tone of the author, everybody? Anyone? Analytical. फैक्चुअल एंड एनालिटिकल. नहीं बच्चे माहिता क्रिटिकल नहीं है, वो क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर रहा है, वो अपना ओपिनियन नहीं दे रहा. ही इज जस्ट एक्सप्लेनिंग द डेटा दैट हाउ वी आर स्टिल लैगिंग बिहाइंड. इट्स नॉट हिज ओपिनियन, सो इट्स मोर ऑफ explanatory or descriptive with a little bit of analysis, but more of explanatory and descriptive. Okay, now let me move to the next article. Everybody give me 1 second, let me have a sip of water. चलो आया समझ में? ठीक है, थैंक यू. All right, so here we go with the next article. We can't afford to neglect TB care. With the whole COVID cases coming in, our entire health ministry and its focus was on the curbing of COVID cases, the vaccination. Also, our finance ministry also paid a lot of attention to curbing COVID and the vaccination and the subsidy it provided. But in the meanwhile, it looks like they are ignoring the TB cases, because I'll tell you a staggering figure. 1/4 of the entire world's TB cases are in India. What do you have to say about that? 1/4 of the entire world's TB cases are found in India. This article is from the Indian Express. Yes, Umbrella, the previous article can be informative as well. So we need to be actually worrying about the TB cases. We can't be ignoring it. India का एक target था 2025 तक TB मुक्त भारत, ये हमारा एक टारगेट है. बट इस कोविड के एग्जिस्टेंस से ऐसा लग रहा है ये टारगेट अभी dwindling है. Let's read that. While the COVID-19 pandemic has wreaked havoc on lives and health system across the world, it has also forced governments globally to become more cognizant of the public health blueprints of their country. What is public health blueprint? Public health blueprint of a country is that what is the country's plan, what is the country's strategy for the coming months, coming years to deal with this pandemic or deal with any health related issue in the country. With the emergence of COVID, every country became too aware of how the blueprint is working, what is their plan, how they have to deal with COVID. In her budget speech for 21-22, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced the government's policy to bolster support for holistic health and well-being. She said overall health well-being honi chahiye and how we're going to work on that. The policy revealed a strong commitment to tackling infectious disease like COVID by pledging to fund 4 new national. Now see, this is an important GK question also. She said we're going to fund 4 new virology institutes, 9 new high containment laboratories for studies on highly infectious pathogens like COVID, and a National Institute of One Health to coordinate research and surveillance on animal and human infections in several measures to control spread of COVID. So this becomes an important GK question also. From here to here. Okay, that's what the focus was. But looks like she had omitted the impact of TB that our country is actually looking at. Okay, so here we go. Unfortunately, it did not address other infections like TB that have taken a large toll on the country's population in the recent decades. According to the WHO's global TB report, 18% decline in the cases notifications is perhaps the biggest indicator. Do you understand what is this happening? There is an 18% decline in the reporting of cases, in the notification that we found cases. Does that mean case reduce हो गए हैं? या does that mean cases की reporting कम हो गई है? Reporting क्यों कम हो सकती है? One example. If, for example, a person has TB or maybe he has symptoms of TB, he wouldn't go to a hospital because of the existing COVID cases that he is scared he might actually catch COVID and come back home. So he might not get himself tested or he might not report himself as a TB positive person. That is one of the instances. So thus, there's an 18% decline in the case notification is perhaps the biggest indicator of the pandemic's impact on global TB programs. TB को कोई ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहा है. That it's evident here. India reported a substantial drop in notification, not in the cases, in the notifications. The country reported 18 lakh TB cases in 2020 compared to 24 lakhs in 2019. तो केसेस तो कम नहीं हो जाएंगे, बिल्कुल कम नहीं होंगे, स्पेशली इन ईयर जहां हम ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहे टीबी पे. The report observes that with a total estimated incidence of 25.9 lakh TB cases, India is a home to a quarter of the global burden of the disease. Since 2016, India has been on a mission to eliminate TB by 2025. 5 years ahead of the target. हम 5 साल आगे चल रहे हैं अपने टारगेट से. हम इतने फास्ट वर्क कर रहे थे. But with the pandemic, it looks like our plan is going down the drain. However, the pandemic has caused massive disruption since resources, both human and technical, were diverted to dealing with COVID. तो ये जो मेरा human resource था, मेरा जो health ministry था, जो मेरा financing था, everything is diverted to COVID. Thus, TB was not paid attention to. Fear of COVID lockdowns and economic stress discouraged people from visiting medical facility to get tested. They did not get tested because they were scared of catching COVID. This exacerbated the pre-existing health-seeking behavior of people who, under normal circumstances, too would shy away from getting a medical care. So, जिन लोगों को TB होता है, normally भी वो they shy away from getting any treatment. और इसलिए आपने अमिताभ बच्चन के इतने ads देखे थे, right? तो उनको encourage करने के लिए ads थे. Normal condition में if they are so shy, imagine जब COVID है तो वो कितना reluctant होंगे of going to a hospital and getting oneself tested. For the TB mitigation strategy to be effective, it is important to increase levels of awareness for people about the disease. It is also crucial to ensure. So this is all a suggestion to the government ki kya karna chahiye. As a public representative, I've had the opportunity to work closely with the several SHGs in Pune. In my experience, empowering these groups with accurate information and enhancing their ability to communicate effectively can transform how health programs. So it basically is another suggestion where it says how you can encourage people to come ahead, get tested, and how can other social workers and help groups can help these people overcome the disease here. What is the, no, there's the last paragraph that's left. We will have to fill the gap created by nearly 1.5 years of COVID. Gap aa gaya, obviously TV ka, so we need to work harder. There's another suggestion that's coming to the ministry, financial ministry. While it remains essential to push for more finances and supportive policies at national level, any tangible impact inevitably happens when the fundamentals of the movement are robust. So agar fundamental strong hai, agar idea strong hai, तो उसको push करने का need नहीं है, which actually might be missing right now. Only then we will be, as a people, achieve the ultimate objective of the TB Mukt Bharat by 2025. What is the tone of the author here, everybody? What is the tone? Self-help groups. SHGs are self-help groups. Yes. What is the tone here, everybody? Concerning and suggestive. Okay. All right. Opinionated? No, it's concerning and suggestive. A lot of concern of not including or paying attention to TB, and then it's their suggestion. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to share today's newspapers, Hindu and Indian Express. We'll see what are the important articles that we should be reading today. Just stick with me for a second. Let's see what are the important articles and what articles can we be taking tomorrow. If there are suggestions, you could then and there tell me. Here we go. I hope it's clearly visible. Yes, now it is. I hope it's clearly visible, everybody. Acha, now there's an important question that a lot of people have been asking me, ma'am, aap last few months ka revision kab karoge? Guys, I'm still in the middle of planning it. You'll have to give me 2 more days to finally come up with a master plan of how I'm going to help you revise the last year's important editorial articles. Okay. Today, and by the way, today at 12:30 on the BBA YouTube platform, I have a class on para completion questions. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Para completion questions, BBA YouTube platform. Okay. Now let's look at the newspaper in the background. Let's see the important articles. Booster jab, lagne lag gayi hai. Yeah, my father got it yesterday. Bulge for restrain. Oh yeah, it's about the Election Commission of India, about campaigning. Skim. Next one, COVID vaccination, booster doses, pad lena. The sale that Indian diplomacy statecraft need. Skim. Skim. Yes, skim. The next article, the rise of collaboratives for social impact. Oh yes, yes, yes. Please isko detail mein pad lena. Okay? I think I'm going to take this article tomorrow. Yes. Next page of editorial is here. Amendments that are unnecessary. Yes, you have to read this. External Affairs Committee, only skim. A hurried affair, leave. Let's look at the text and context. Ma'am, 2020, okay. First class hogi na ma'am, if para completion, yes, Anushka, aaj first class hai para completion ki. I'll have 3 classes. Could you please send the Law Doubt classes Telegram link here? Shruti, I'll try to do that again. Video team, if you're online, could you please share the link for the Telegram group Law Doubt discussion here in the chat? Thank you so much. Let us look at the text and context. Kazakhstan and the protests. Yes, read this. Flying cars and the future in cities. Yes, read this. Okay, I love text and context. GST reform need a new grand bargain. Chhod dena. Lord of the Dreams. Please do read it. Okay, let's look at the opinion page of Indian Express. Our Prime Minister's security breach. Okay. The first one. How India has approached customary international laws. Very, very important. I think I'm going to take this article tomorrow. Prabhash Ranjan writes it. Yes, I'm going to take it. No place for propaganda and PM security breach pro. Bilkul chhod dena, koi need nahi hai padhne ka. The story of a lost baby being reunited with his family in Kabul. Please read this. Weaponizing ED tax authorities to expand. Yes, please read this. Defections, new entrants make predicting Goa poll. Leave this. Sexual assault survivor must be told of all their options. Very, very important. And especially after Nivedita ma'am's video, I think this becomes even more important. है ना? इसको पढ़ लेना. And this is Omicron variant adds a new dimension to discourse on booster shots. पढ़ लेना. A premium article, Understanding the Eurasian Turmoil. Should I take this article tomorrow? Yes. If you want me to take it, just comment under my video, okay? Now let's look at the explained page as well. That is here. New research, Omicron and immune response after vaccination. Skim. WTO China's developing country. Skim. Velour of the Chote Sahibzade. Chhod dena. Why is Paytm falling on the bourses? Skim. Explained why were Golden Globes 22 not televised? Yes. Padh lena. Why does Turkmenistan plans to close gateway to hell? Yes. Read this. It's a premium article though. Hit by COVID-19, which airlines reducing capacity offering waivers? Skim. That is all from today. That is all from today's Indian Express. Now guys, I'm going to see you at 12:30 then on the BB YouTube platform. That is all for today. Thank you so much everybody. Could you please send the Law Doubt discussion? Oh yes, I'm going to send it. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm going to share that. Yes, sharing the link to the Law Doubt discussion group. Okay. Bye everyone. Have a very, very good day and God bless you.